units explode, and it's really important. The reason we give our research away, it's important for investors and individuals and businesses to get on the right side of change because these are transformative technologies.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. In a special video for investors, CEO/CIO Cathie Wood examines the shifting post-election landscape, highlighting the potential for economic growth and regulatory changes to create a more supportive environment for innovation and investment.
The tax cuts, we believe, are critically important, especially if Trump makes good on his tariff promise. Now, I'm not a big fan of tariffs myself, but if we're going to pair tariffs, not on our free trade partners, but on those countries that really are not giving American goods and services a level playing field, but we counter them at home with lower tax rates for consumers and businesses. That's a trade-off. That's a good trade-off. And so I don't think the criticism about tariffs is going to play out in terms of 100% across the board. That's not what we're talking about here. I think President Trump is very pro-growth, and he's not going to do anything to impede growth in that way. He wants the dollar down. He thinks that will make us more competitive. What I think will happen is the returns on invested capital in the United States relative to those elsewhere in the world, they're going to increase, and that is going to attract more capital, which will actually boost the dollar. Now, in terms of interest rates, the dollar going up is anti-inflationary, as is the productivity growth associated with a burst in activity caused by lower tax rates and other incentives for investing. So if inflation is going to surprise on the low side of expectations, that's going to be very good for innovation-driven strategies. What happened during the last 4 years, actually, is the burst of inflation caused by many things, but COVID, supply chain, money growth exploding. Even though the Fed has gotten all of that under control, I think a lot of investors have had trouble believing that it would stay under control. The way inflation will stay under control is productivity growth, and we're already seeing strong productivity growth thanks to artificial intelligence and other new technologies.
The world's largest asset manager, BlackRock, accumulated more than $1 billion of inflows to its Bitcoin exchange-traded fund across a record trading day as Bitcoin continued to break all-time highs. On November 7, BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF clocked $1.1 billion in inflows, reclaiming inflow status after 2 consecutive days of outflows totaling $113.3 million, according to Farside data. It came on a day when Bitcoin again hit all-time highs, reaching $76,943, according to CoinMarketCap data. IBIT's inflows represented almost 82% of inflows generated by the 11 United States-listed spot Bitcoin ETF on the day, which amounted to $1.34 billion in total. The Fidelity Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund saw the second highest inflows at $190.9 million, followed by the ARK 21 Shares Bitcoin ETF with $17.6 million. The State of Michigan Retirement System has added exposure to Ethereum exchange-traded funds, according to a United States Securities and Exchange Commission filing. In a November 4 SEC filing, Michigan's state pension fund disclosed holding 460,000 shares of the Grayscale Ethereum Trust and 460,000 shares of the asset manager's Ethereum Mini Trust. The investment, reporting for September 30, added to the fund's previously disclosed exposure to the ARK 21 shares Bitcoin ETF. At the time of publication, the total value of the Bitcoin investments was roughly $18 million if Michigan maintained its holdings. The value of the 110,000 shares of the ARK 21 shares Bitcoin ETF held by the pension fund increased by roughly $1 million since being reported on June 30. The State Bank of Pakistan announced a package of policy proposals on November 4 that, if accepted, would legalize digital assets such as cryptocurrencies as legal tender throughout the country. In a meeting chaired by SBP Governor Jamil Ahmad, the bank's Monetary Policy Committee reportedly submitted amendments to its standing policy that would allow state banks to issue digital currency. The proposed amendments would also impose penalties on digital currency issuers operating without approval. While the proposals would still require approval at the next stage of government, if they were to pass, it could pave the way for a central bank digital currency, ostensibly a government-issued digital rupee.
As well as actually the dollar firming. Most commodity prices are priced in dollars. Most commodities are priced in dollars, I should say. And the dollar going up means downward pressure on commodity prices. That's a very good thing as well. So what will happen to interest rates here? Now, this is a little different from the 80s. Interest rates were so high at the beginning of the 80s, 15%, that really, if the Reagan administration got anything right, those interest rates would come down. And they certainly have. Now, 45 years later, they are high relative to recent history, 5% on the Fed funds rate. And they are restrictive relative to where we see inflation going. So we do believe there will be a downward pressure on interest rates, maybe even more than many investors expect in the near term, because I think a lot of activity is going to be held back by a desire to understand how policies are going to change in the future. If we believe tax rates are going to come down, we're probably going to wait. If we're businesses and consumers, this is classic. It even happened during the Reagan administration when he phased in tax cuts over 3 years. Most people just waited until the tax rates were at the point he had promised. So we probably will see some holding back of activity in the next year in anticipation of even lower tax rates. So I think interest rates will be biased to the downside. Thereafter, I think we're going to see an explosion in productivity growth. That's what the convergence among the major innovation platforms around which we've centered our research. So robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and multi-omic sequencing in the healthcare space. Those platforms are converging and we believe are going to unlock explosive productivity growth, explosive GDP growth, and much lower than expected inflation because all of these platforms are deflationary. They're technologically enabled, and that's good deflation. As prices fall,
the cryptocurrency community is celebrating the victory of former President Donald Trump in the 2024 United States presidential election. Trump, the Republican candidate, declared victory on election night, November 6, pledging to usher in a golden age for America. "I'm excited to be your 47th and your 45th president," Trump said during what appeared to be a victory speech. Trump's win is a promising sign for the cryptocurrency industry in the U.S., as Trump has repeatedly expressed support of crypto and branded himself as a pro-crypto candidate. Trump has repeatedly promised to end the war on crypto if elected and promised to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the planet if he wins the presidential election. In one of her first post-election messages, Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis reiterated plans for United States lawmakers to build a strategic Bitcoin reserve, presumably when Republicans take a majority control of the Senate in 2025. In a November 6 post on X, Senator Lummis said she intended to move forward with her plans to establish a Bitcoin reserve. The Wyoming Republican introduced the Bitcoin Act in July for the U.S. government to buy 1 million BTC, roughly 5% of the total supply, and hold it for at least 20 years. With Republicans expected to have a majority in the U.S. Senate after flipping 3 seats on Election Day, Lummis and her colleagues may have the votes needed to carry out the plan. Her proposed bill built upon an idea pitched by then-presidential candidate Donald Trump, who suggested the U.S. government not sell any of its seized Bitcoin. And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Zella. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.